Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Ricardo, and I'm excited to be back here with another live conversation here on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. This morning's talk is going to be one you don't want to miss. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this for the very first time, put on that notification button, subscribe to this channel, and let us know that, hey, I'm following, I'm listening. Let us know where you're watching this from as well. That would be a blessing to me to know where you're watching us from. But this morning, guys, I'm excited because I'm joined with my kingdom brother and close friend, Pastor Kino McCartney. Mr. McCartney, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Coach Ricardo, how you doing? I'm fantastically well. Woke up alive, ready to ready to grab this day and make a difference in the lives of people. How are you this morning, my brother?
Man, I'm doing well. Hey, listen, every day when you get up, you got to tell yourself, hey, I'm still here. Come on. I'm still here.
I'm alive. I'm alive, and I'm ready to go.
I'm alive. I'm alive. And the truth is, with us being given another day, it is a responsibility of ours to make sure that we show up correctly. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you used the right word. It's a choice.
Yeah.
We choose. Someone said something to me several years ago. You win or lose by the way you choose. How do you choose? Not every day is going to be sunny. It's going to be rainy some days.
Yeah.
But how do you choose when you wake up in the morning? I went jogging this morning. It started to rain.
Yeah.
And guess what? I told myself, wonderful, I'm going to have two showers, one outside and one inside. It's how you choose to see your day.
It is so. That is so right, man. That is so right. Listen, Mr. McCartney, go ahead and tell our viewing audience a little bit about Kino McCartney for those who don't know.
My brother, simple guy. Kino McCartney is a gentleman who loves the Lord, who's been called to deposit in the lives of people value and make a difference. I'm married to a wonderful woman. This year, July, is going to be our 26th year of being married, being together. Lisa McCartney, I'm so happy and privileged. I tell people my stocks went up when I invested in that Proverbs 31 woman. So I'm happy to be her wife, the father of two wonderful children, Kristen and Daniel, a college student and a young man who's making a difference in the lives of people. I also have the privilege of serving a group of people at an insurance company here in the Bahamas called Kino. I've learned one thing, and the greatest part of leadership is to be a servant. So I serve there at Kino. I serve at my church in the administration area as the treasurer of my church, formerly working in children and youth ministry. I serve my community with an organization called Rotary, which has been an absolute pleasure to serve that community of people. Their motto is service above self. And I just love doing that. And also making a difference in wherever I go. That's basically who Kino is, man.
Next week, next week, I'm speaking to a Rotary Club meeting next week. And so I will remind them that they need to make sure that they continue to fellowship and connect with international clubs.
That's right, man. Brother, get ready because I'm going to get you to speak at our club. Don't worry about that.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Hey, this morning we're dealing with preparation. We're dealing with the rules of engagement when it comes to securing one's future. You've been in an industry for a long time that center itself around preparation, planning to ensure that that when life presents itself with some of the unexpected challenges, that we've positioned ourselves well for it. What's your view on people aligning themselves up with the best of practices to ensure that their future is brighter than any challenge that may be presently being experienced?
Coach Ricardo, you use a very important word in that people. Yeah. I've learned, and I'm going to borrow this from a good friend of mine. He said that there are two very important things in life. The most precious things that you're ever going to have in life is a commodity called time, and an asset called people. What you do with those things, God has given you those two things. And what you do with those things will determine where you're going in your life. The commodity is time, something that cannot be replaced. What you do with your time, how you prepare yourself with the time that you have. You cannot get it back. You cannot multiply it. What you do with the moments that you have, whether you invest in yourself or invest in others, will determine your level of success. That's the greatest commodity you have, not money, not real estate. It is time.
Yeah.
The greatest asset you have are people. Yeah. The greatest asset you have are people. What are you doing with the people in your life? Are you building them up or are you tearing them down? What are you doing with the people that you have? Every organization, every church that focuses on building its people is a church or an organization that will change the future, because that's the mandate we've been given. Yep. To be able to build souls. Let me just put it this way: build souls and win souls, help people grow. Two things that are very important. I sum my whole life in those two things. What are you doing with time? Yep. And what are you doing with people?
Wow. What are you doing with time? What are you doing with people? I love it. Your goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to figure out how can I do better with those two particular areas. This morning, we're joined with Mr. Kino McCartney, coming out. He's coming live from the Bahamas. This is my brother, y'all. I love this guy. I love his family. Amazing people. Kino, there are a lot of people who still commonly practice behaviors that are unhealthy. What have been some of the more common unhealthy practices from a financial planning standpoint that you have noticed that you're like, come on, man, get it, people, get it, can you get it? And what would you share with us this morning?
A couple of things I just want to share with you, and I'm going to start it off with a statement. Listen to the statement. It says, if your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep would be your downfall. Let me say that one more time. If your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep will be your downfall. There are many people who make decisions daily based on what they would like to have, not the reality of what they have in front of them. A farmer never, ever, whenever he builds himself to sell stuff for the community, he knows that based on the harvest that he has, he can prepare himself for success. Based on whatever he plants, based on whatever's happening during the time that he's planting those seeds, he could know that he's going to have a great harvest. Yeah. But even in having a great harvest, he realizes that some of the things that he will plant or she will plant will not come to fruition. Some will be destroyed by insects. Some will be destroyed by different things. I'm saying this to people. When you have an income coming in, if you're making a certain amount of money, do not overstretch yourself. Yep. Stay within the reasonable budget that you have. First, you must budget, and you must stay within the reasonable budget that you have. The last 14 months, 16 months have taught many people that they needed to plan and prepare for when crisis would come, because it will come. Don't live on the edge. Yep. Stop living on month to month. Yep. Readjust. Yep. Pull back. Yep. And you will be able to make some major differences.
Mr. McCartney, it's such a serious plight that there are so many people who are unwilling to make the necessary adjustments to move from the paycheck to paycheck, to month to month. And it is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us today, you can make some adjustments to put yourself in a place where in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, you're in a better place. You may find yourself in a difficult state financially right now. You may find yourself in a difficult state right now when it comes to taking control of your life. But if you start to incorporate the most healthiest of practices, you can change that state. Mr. McCartney, when you look at crisis planning, what's your view on that? What comes to mind when you think crisis planning?
When I think crisis planning, 3 words come to mind: prevent, control, protect. When you plan with prevention in mind. The first thing to do is how to prevent a crisis. Now, some crises you cannot prevent because they're just going to happen. But a lot of times in our lives, some crises can be prevented based on the way that we plan. So the first thing we need to do in life is prepare and plan so that we could prevent some crises. Let me give you an example. You're driving home. Your car is on E. You're telling yourself it's just above you. You can tell yourself, hey, you know something? It's late in the night. I need to get home. I'll deal with that in the morning. You get up in the morning, you jump in your car, you realize that you have a dead battery. You realize you have a flat tire. You realize that you're out of gas. Guess what? You could have prevented that the night before. You could have prevented that by going to the station, putting a couple of dollars in your car. That's a crisis you would have prevented.
Yep.
Your car is running bad. Service your car every 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
You're preventing something that
Wow.
that when you get there, you're saying, "Oh God, look what happened. This car's not working." No, you could have prevented it. Prevent, control. Whenever a crisis happens, know that you are able to take control. Initially, it could be out of control, but you must stop, assess your situation, and take control. Those who take control of a crisis, of a situation, are those persons who actually rise to the top. There's something that sits on my desk, and I got this from, and excuse, I'm going to use an example that I guess one of the most tragic things that happened in the United States several years ago, September 11th, when the tragedy happened in the United States, one man rose to the top. His name is Mayor Giuliani. When he was interviewed, on his desk, it has a frame that says, "I'm responsible." In an uncontrollable situation where everyone was running around, this leader stepped up and took control. Why? Because on his desk, he has, "I'm responsible."
Yeah.
Do you know what sits on my desk right now?
Yeah.
"I'm responsible."
Yes,
it doesn't matter what happens. Take control. You might not know how to handle it. You might experience the death of a family member. Something tragic may have happened, but listen, God is with you. Take control. And then finally, you prevent, you control, and then you protect. Once you would have already taken control, learn to protect what you have. Learn to secure your home, secure your life, secure your finances, secure your spiritual life. How do you secure your spiritual life? You secure your spiritual life by staying in the word and with prayer.
Yeah.
Many people get up every day. They don't take time to devotion to spend time with the Lord. They don't pray. They don't do these things. And when a crisis hit, they run and say, "Oh, help me." Listen, build the bank of prayer so that when it's time to make a withdrawal, you could do it, and God is going to bless you exceedingly and abundantly.
Wow. That is
Three
so
things,
good.
very simple.
Yep. I like that. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Kino McCartney here on Effective Living this morning. I want you to know this. Effective Living is a platform built around personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. You taking responsibility for the life that you've been given. And so if you're watching us today, wherever you're watching from, please let us know. Go ahead and put a comment in the comment section and let us know. We want to know if you're in the Bahamas and you're watching. I was told this morning, Kino, prepare the trip. The crew is ready. We need to get back on the ground in the Bahamas. So October, I got a strong delegation showing up.
Excellent.
They're coming from around the world. And
we're ready.
Do it.
The Bahamas is ready to receive, hey, out of this crisis. By the way, out of this crisis, the Bahamas has done, with all of our challenges, we still have done well.
Yeah.
We're now one of the first areas in the world that will be inviting the first set of cruise tourists from around the world. Why? Because even in the midst of crisis, the leaders in this country have prepared themselves. They've learned how to prevent, to control. Now they're trying to protect the economy and the people. Nice. And that, you know, I encourage, and it encourages me to see that there are leaders who are able to do it, to step up, to go to the next level.
Well, I'm excited about bringing our delegation in. It's going to be grand. Mr. McCartney, what are some of the key things one must consider when crisis planning? Because it is something that I believe that we need to plan for. 2020 was a year that was disruptive in a lot of people's lives, in companies and so forth. And there are people who are still living like they lived prior to 2020, only to not realize that as long as you're living, you just never know when a tornado will hit Texas, when a hurricane will hit the Bahamas, when you would find that the world shuts down because of global pandemic. What are some of the key things to consider in crisis planning?
couple of things I want our viewing audience to consider. And before I get into that, I want to say this. This has been the greatest distraction that has ever hit the country, the nation, the world. But yet this has also been the greatest opportunity. I remember 1999. I don't know if you were a young man. You should know 1999. The greatest discussion was Y2K. You remember that? Y2K. The entire world would have shut down because all the computers only could go up to 1999.
Yeah.
We flipped the switch and we went right into 2000, 2001. We're now in 2021. The world did not end. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is not going to end. One pandemic will not destroy this earth because God created this earth to continue to operate until he comes back. It will not be destroyed. Let me just leave that with you. Let me get back to your question. What should you do in terms of some things to consider in planning for crisis? Like, it's very simple. The who, the what, the when, the why, and the how. Who are the people on your team when a crisis happens?
Keep it going.
You should have persons on your team that could help you through a crisis that you should be able to run to, that will be able to let persons know, listen, man, I'm having a challenge right now. Who's on your team? Build a team that's around you that is strong, that is engaged. I say to the person, have a therapist on your team. Have a pastor on your team. Have a financial plan on your team. Have a team of people around you that could build you and you could build them, because it has to be a relationship. What? Know that whatever you're going to face, God is with you. So you're not alone. What is it that we're facing right now? Find out what the what is and find out a way to get over whatever you're dealing with. And that comes through planning. When? Listen, it's going to happen. You heard what I just said? It's going to happen. It's not if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. So in your mind, put in your mind right away that, listen, this is the best case scenario. This is the worst case scenario. The fact is it's going to happen. And when it happens, be prepared. Your why. Have clear objectives in a crisis. Lay it out. Yeah, you talk about tornado. If a tornado hits our town, our country, here are the clear objectives that I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go in terms of protection. This is who I'm going to meet with. This is the insurance company I'm going to contact. This is the fire department numbers. This is the ambulance. These are the things that you need to put in. But have clear objectives in terms of what you're going to do. And also the how. Communicate. Learn to communicate and communicate clearly to the persons that are around you, especially if you are in a leadership role. Be able to communicate clearly and make sure as you communicate, the persons that you're communicating to understand. Those 5 things, the who, the what, the when, the why, and the how. And I normally say to persons, as you plan, do a SWOT analysis. You've heard about that. Look at your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities and threats. What are the things that can threaten your life, threaten your family, threaten your community? Is it the economy? Is it losing a job? Is it losing a family member? Is it whatever it is? Find out what the threats are. And see, when you acknowledge the threats, all the threats, some of those you may not know. But sit down, ask God for wisdom, and write out all the threats that you think you may have in your life. A simple SWOT analysis. And look at the opportunities. I kid you not, Pastor Ricardo, every single one of us will face at least one major challenge in our life, whether it be a health crisis, whatever it is. And the fact of the matter is, as you sit and you pray and you prepare and you plan, God will give you wisdom to walk through every single crisis that you go through. A crisis, I think it's in I think it's the Japanese or Chinese that says the same word for crisis is opportunity. The same word, they all mix together in one word. Learn to become a magnet of opportunity rather than a magnet that always dealing with crisis.
Wow. You know, it is possible to program one's mind to actually be more engaged in seeing that any crisis that is presenting itself to us, we have the opportunity to flip the script on that thing and
Absolutely.
possibly reinvent ourselves and really just come out of that better.
Yes.
A lot of people think crisis comes to destroy and take out completely, but the truth is there are a lot of people who find themselves better after a crisis.
Absolutely.
Mr. McCartney, let's talk about the common mistakes that you see repeatedly being done. Every year, these repeated behaviors. What are some of them that would be standing out to you this morning that you want to give our viewing audience? Hey, look at this. This is something that you've done last year, the year before. What's going on?
I wrote down a couple of mistakes. I call it the common mistakes. I call it the insane game.
Wow. Yeah.
I tell people stop playing the insane game. Insane game.
Yeah.
You've heard this before. If you keep on doing the same thing you've always done, you keep on getting the same result.
Yeah.
That's an insane game. That's like playing a video game. And you know that in this video game, as you play this video game, there's going to come something that's going to block you. Learn to overcome those things. Stop playing the insane game. Couple of things. So one, stop playing the insane game. Stop doing the same thing. Reevaluate. Every day, reassess and reevaluate what you're doing in your quiet time. And it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, even in the busyness of this world, to have a quiet time. Have a time when you're meditating. You're preparing your mind, your heart in prayer. You're making sure that whatever you're going to face this day, you're going to face it in the right ways. So many people go to sleep with noise. The television is on, and they have it on news, weather, and sports. That's the worst thing to do, to go to bed and on. That's a diet of anxiety. You heard what I just said? That's a diet of anxiety if you go to bed with news, weather, or sports. Right? So they go to bed with noise, they wake up with noise, so they don't have time to quiet themselves. That's one. Secondly, people don't get wise counsel. They don't get wise counsel. They go ahead and make the mistake that they did last week. They don't stop and get wise counsel. The Bible says wisdom comes in the counsel of many. Sit down and get wise counsel. And there's one that dovetails right off that, number 3. They don't implement the wise counsel that they get. There's one thing to get wise counsel, is another thing to implement it.
Come on. Yeah.
The worst thing a builder can do in constructing a home is if he or she is not familiar with having a physical planner, having an engineer, having those who understand how to put the steel in the building. All he wants to do is build a skyscraper without steel, without concrete. No, you can't do that. Get the right people. As you get the wise counsel, implement those things that persons are giving to you. I could tell you, there are many people who have come to me and asked me for financial advice. And I give them the financial advice. They go away. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. They go away. 6 months later, they're in a deeper hole because they didn't follow the advice. Get the wise counsel and implement the wise counsel. I normally have 10. I have a board of directors that I have personally in my head, a board of directors who I go to. And I take time and I have a conversation with them. And I also learned that experience is one of the best teachers, as long as it's coming from someone else.
Yeah.
You don't have to experience
a
financial crash if you saw someone else do it. Look at their experience and learn.
Yeah.
So that's number 3. So number 2, don't get wise counsel. They don't get wise counsel. And 3, they do not implement the wise counsel. Number 4, they're not willing to change.
Wow. Yeah.
The most dangerous words I've ever heard in my life is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Wow.
We've always done it this way. Dangerous words. Yeah. When God created the earth, he created the earth to create and to develop and to change every day. That's why plants die and there are new plants. Yeah. Because there's always something new coming out. They want to do the same thing, the same old way, because it's comfortable. That's a very dangerous way to think. We always did it that way. That's one of the mistakes that people make. They're not willing to change. I say to persons, be willing to pivot. Of course, that's a watchword, but be willing to pivot. That there's two books I'm going to recommend very quickly. There's a book called Good to Great by Mr. Collins, Good to Great. And then another one, I think I told you, but this one is called The Blue Ocean.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great
There's
book.
another one that came out, Blue Ocean Shift, two
Yeah.
great books.
Yeah,
You must be willing to change. And even in the midst of, they call it, even in the midst of the Red Sea, where everything is coming and falling apart around you,
yeah.
you can change and create a blue ocean from a red ocean. I know people don't understand what I'm saying, but get the book. And
Get the
of course, I'm going to leave this last one with you. For the last several days, our church has been studying the book of Proverbs on a devotional. I've never met, the Bible is a wonderful book to study, but let me tell you something. If you want to understand the power of wisdom, read the book of Proverbs.
Yeah.
Read the book of Proverbs. But there are just a few mistakes that I see people constantly do every day. And it's simple stuff, and they can do it. They change what you have done, what you do on a constant basis. Get advice, implement the advice,
Yeah.
and watch your life change.
This is so good. Ladies and gentlemen, our goal here on Effective Living is to help you discover the principles necessary for winning. I believe as you put on your notification button, as you subscribe to this channel, when you show up, what you're going to find out is practical tips are being provided here on a daily basis to help you to win in life. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better should be your mantra. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. And that's what we're pushing you for. We want to push you to not settle. Mr. McCartney, when it comes to preparedness, what tips do you suggest that won't go away, that should be enforced, that should be looked at, should be embraced?
Before I say that, let me just say this to you, Coach Ricardo. I want to commend you for recreating yourself.
Thank you.
You went through quite a bit of crisis, and I know I'm taking a little break here, but you went through a lot of crisis in your life. Many people don't know what they sit and they look and they say, hey, he looks great. No, he went through a lot of crisis, but these are some of the things that he did. And let me just drop some of those things in your heart and in your mind. First, plan ahead. What is the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Learn to plan ahead as much as you can. Plan ahead. Several years ago, I wrote down, as a young man, I wrote down 10 things that I wanted to accomplish in my life. And one of the mistakes I made is I should have made that a list of 50, because I already accomplished the 10 in the first couple of years.
Yeah.
So every year I go ahead and I plan ahead to prepare for what's going on. And in the planning, I incorporate disaster preparedness.
Yes. Yes.
I incorporate distractions that can happen. What will happen if there's a hurricane? What is the contingent plan that I'm putting in place? Who are the people I'm going to have on my team to help me do what I need to do in order to adjust? So in your planning, plan for disasters.
Yeah.
Plan for a death. Oh, how could you plan for a death? Plan for a death. Prepare. Have your insurance and everything together. What are you going to do if this person dies? Do you have things in place? So plan. The second thing, and this is a very interesting one, as I plan and prepare for tips, apologize if you're wrong.
Wow.
A lot of times people just do things and they don't understand that they made a mistake. If you made a mistake, apologize. The Bible says a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up strife. Even in your planning, apologize to others and apologize to yourself. I made the wrong mistake. I made the wrong decision. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Just because you fail at something doesn't mean that you're a failure.
Failure. Come on.
It means that you fail at that one thing. But you are not a failure. These are tips. I just want to drop a couple of them to you. Let me give you another one. Is it okay if I give you another one, brother?
Go for it. Go for it.
Be willing to take risk.
Yeah.
Take a faith walk.
Yeah.
We've heard it before. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Take a faith walk. Take a risk. Step out in doing things that you've never done. I've shared you a couple of things that I did this year. I already said that this is going to be a decade of promise. And I've already started to step out in certain things. You know some of the things I've already shared with you.
Yes.
They're going to come out, they're going to be revealed in short order. But I stepped out in faith, things that I've never done before. Joined this organization called Rotary. I love it. The Rotary Club of Nassau, the oldest organization, was invited to be a part. Join them. Why? I've never done it.
Yeah.
My 50th birthday, I went in and I decided to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, step out in faith, take risk.
Yeah.
You're working on a job, you don't like it, start your own business.
Come on.
You don't have no money, doesn't matter, start your own business. Ask God for wisdom.
Yeah.
A business doesn't start because of the money you have, it starts because of the dream that's in your heart. Get out and do something different. Number 4, just a couple of tips I want to leave with you, my brother, and everyone else. Stay calm. Don't panic.
Wow.
I used the example earlier of the gentleman in New York who, when everything was crashing around them, he stayed calm. Ladies and gentlemen, stay calm.
Yeah.
Calm your spirit, calm your mind. Don't panic. Number 5, I know I'm running out of time. Take action. You must decide to move ahead rather than to die in the situation that you're in. You must decide to move ahead, take action, rather than to sit and die in the position that you're in. I told you earlier that I've been studying the book of Proverbs. I'm going to leave this with you, and this has really, really helped me and helped my wife, helped my family, and helped the circle that I'm in. I'm going to leave this with you. In crisis management, I've learned this, and I've applied this. This has changed my life. Proverbs 18:22 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Let me say that again. The name of the Lord in every crisis is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. What are some of the names of the Lord? In your health crisis, some of you are facing cancer, health crises. He's your Jehovah Rapha. That's the name of the Lord. Call it the name of the Lord. Your economic crisis. My goodness, I don't know what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do. I lost my job. The name of the Lord, Jehovah Jireh. He is your provider. That's where everything comes from. That is what he can sustain you with. Hey, I'm in anxiety everywhere I want. I don't know what to do. I get up fearful. Anxiety is hitting me everywhere. His name, the name of the Lord is Jehovah Shalom. He is your peace. He is the one. Call him. He is the one that brings you peace. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. Everywhere I go, there's certain things that are happening to me. I don't feel protected. I feel exposed. He is Jehovah Nisi, your banner. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and they are safe. And of course, the name above every name, which is the name of Jesus. He's the one that brought salvation and love. He's the one that's able to sustain your life. He is the one that will strengthen you and make you stronger in every crisis that you face. Coach Ricardo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you all, I love this brother. I love him. I love him. I love him. I love and appreciate him, man. This morning, we're talking about crisis preparedness, practical mindsets that has to be incorporated in the life of a person who's decided I'm going to live life effectively. I want to win. I want to win in every area of my life moving forward. Listen, what I want you to do is go ahead and let us know where you're viewing this from. I want to celebrate you. I want to recognize, where are you viewing this live from today? Put on the notification button on this YouTube channel and subscribe. Do me a favor, if you're enjoying this content in addition, go ahead and put a thumbs up. Put a thumbs up and just let me know, hey, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Mr. McCartney, when you look at life, you've been on a journey, man, doing life with your family. You've embraced your career. Once again, congratulations on your membership to the Rotary Club of Nassau. Just want you to know, I was the Interact Club Junior Rotary Program president in R.M. Bailey for about 2 months. Okay?
Excellent. Excellent.
I was supposed to be for the whole year, but I was a knucklehead. Didn't realize what I had. But I had lunch with the Rotary Club back then. And distinguished group at the time, I felt, oh, look at this. This is amazing. And the Minister for Education, Minister Jeff Lloyd, was a member of that club. I don't know if that's the same club he's a member of. But once again, congratulations on you and the Rotary Club membership that you just attained. Let's dive into this, Mr. McCartney. What is effective living to you? I want to know. I want to know.
Great question. Excellent question. Before I do that, I want to send a shout out as I did to my wife Lisa, but I want to send out a shout out to the group of people that I work with, the Golden Eagles, the Collins Golden Eagles, a fantastic group of individuals. Hey guys, you guys continue to soar and continue to do well. What does effective living mean to me? And Coach, it's very simple to me. Effective living is living in your designed, God-given assignment. Living in your designed, God-given assignment. When you understand that your assignment is given to you by God,
Yes.
and when you understand what that assignment is, that He has designed it, and He has prepared it just for you, only you one, just like how only you one have that fingerprint and no one else has it. There is a designed assignment just for you. And the entire life could be centered around you accomplishing that assignment by God. But you must also understand that on the other side of that assignment that has been designed by God is someone who's out there to take you off and destroy whatever that is before you. He's called the enemy. His job is very simple: to steal, kill, destroy. But God has designed something for you that you might have life and you might have it more abundantly. Ladies and gentlemen, you are designed. God has designed an assignment just for you. Coach Ricardo, in his effective living platform, is living out his designed assignment, living a life that he doesn't need to take a vacation from. And he believes that in his heart because that's a designed assignment. Mine is to bring value to the life of people. As I lead, I become a servant. One of the mentors in my life, Bishop Deonta Cunningham, says this: you do not ascend to leadership. You don't ascend to greatness. You descend into greatness. Your leadership is not how high you go, but it's in humility, how low can you go? That's in his book. And I say to persons out there, know the designed assignment that God has given to you because He's designed it for you. Get to know Him and watch your life come alive.
Come on. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this has been an effective living early morning conversation with Mr. Kino McCartney. It is always a joy, always a delight to have you join us, my brother. I know you're a busy man, and to block this time out to join us here on Effective Living, man, I must say thank you to your beautiful wife, Miss Lisa Teller. I said hello, and to your kids. And so I know that now that the summer months is fast approaching, I know the McCartneys, y'all got to be planning something in the summer months.
My wife already planned it out 6 months in advance. She showed me the plan. This is what we're going to do. I said, okay, baby, it's already planned, believe it or not.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, once again, thank you, Mr. McCartney. Ladies and gentlemen, every day, Monday to Friday, we're here on YouTube just providing practical tips to help you to win in life. If you've enjoyed this, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We want to know that you're enjoying the content that is being provided on this platform. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for suggesting to your friends and family. Subscribe to Effective Living with Ricardo Miller. He brings on the most coolest people on the planet. It's free content being delivered here on a daily basis. We got some changes coming up over the next few weeks. You don't want to miss out on what's happening here on this YouTube channel. Have a great day. Once again, Mr. McCartney, thank you for blessing us with your presence and the wisdom that you provided, helping us to capture the principles necessary to deal well with crisis. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother, and you have a fantastic day.
You too.